Shut up and sit down.
Hello folks, Colin here, Festus 67's workshop. Welcome to issue number 4 of Build Your Own Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 1967 from the wonderful folks over at DeAgostini. Now, if you would like to grab one of these for yourself, click this link below. Head over to the DeAgostini website and grab yourself your very own 1/6 scale. Yes, 1/6 scale, folks. Shelby GT500. Because, yeah, it's going to be such a wonderful addition to your collection, folks. So without further ado, let's have a looky-loo at issue number 4. In there, we've got the Mustang Boss 351. Says the success of the Mustang Boss 302 in 1969 prompted Ford to launch a new version of the car, the 351, in 1971. The 351's appearance and performance confirmed that it was worthy of the Boss designation. Look at that. Again, looks fast stationary, folks, doesn't it? Just had that complete, like, bezeled rear end, didn't it? It's like poof, proper slab back, and yeah, very of its era. Some more in details there. What was under the hood, what engine it had, 5.7 litre V8 that developed 330 bhp. Oh wow, nice one. So yeah, all the different specs for it there. He looks a jaunty fella in his stripy trousers there, doesn't he? And his slip-ons, rather 1970s man. Nice one, my son. We've got the parts that are supplied in this issue, folks, and I'm giggling because it's right next to me. You've got the left door, the lock bar, door release button, inner lock flange, opening mechanism, door mechanism spring, oh dear, lock cylinder, handles, left side mirror and holder, and loads of different screws, folks. Now, the reason I'm giggling, look at the size of that door. Absolutely huge, isn't it, folks? But look at the beautiful finish already on that. And there's all your bits and pieces, your mirrors and stuff like that. So we'll be undoing this shortly and having a look-ikins and getting the first stage of the inner parts of the door mechanisms assembled, folks. There's all the instructions there with exploded diagrams, so you can see exactly what you need to do on each part, even with thick and thin pegs where they go on the door. All of that detail, folks, is all in there for you. So they've thought of everything on this. But it's the detail, it's all the little locking mechanisms and working push buttons that is really going to embellish this vehicle. This is showing you whereabouts on your Mustang that this part is going to be fitted. There you go. We've then got the Le Mans 1968 race, a change of foe, defeats in 66 and 7, caused Ferrari to officially abandon endurance racing. Started in 1968, Porsche become Ford's rival. And there's all the GT40s that went around Le Mans. And yeah, iconic cars they really were. Some more there, the Porsche's fragility in later years in different races. This was the long night. Lucien Bianchi even makes a technical stop at night. The delay until September in holding the race meant that having a race more hours in the dark than in daytime. Yeah, Le Mans 24-hour race. What a race of endurance. There's the two drivers there, and then there was a changing of the guard there with different vehicles. This was the Matra MS630. Gave a spectacular show during the night, but unfortunately that vehicle wasn't successful. There you go. Give these a read, folks. You can find out really decent little snippets about the Mustang in there on the build you're doing, so it doesn't hurt to learn a bit of history. Do a bit of research on the vehicle. Helps you understand what you're assembling, folks. Let's just pop that at the back there so that I can see all of the details. And then we'll start opening up this parcel because it is a big one. Let's grab the door. And there's the door, folks. Look at the size of that. And again, this will all get a massive polish when this is all assembled. So there's going to be some little marks and where it's been packaged, but it's only on the surface there. It will polish off. So this whole car will be detailed once I assemble it. So it's saying there, place the locks in the 4G in the lowest of the 3 holes. On the outside of the door, insert it all the way in and secure with a PS12 screw, which is one of them bad boys. So we want that to go in this hole over here. But it can only go apparently one way. It's a semicircle, so we'll get that in place and make sure we're putting that in the correct way round, because we want it to go fully home. So I'll pick that up with my tweezers actually, because that'll be easier for me. So don't be afraid to use your tweezers, just to get that in place. Like that. And then once you've got that in place, you can then put your screw on. Now we're going into plastic, but I am still going to put a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on there. Like that. Just a wheel pit, folks. So let's get that held in place with my finger and use that one just to line it up with a screw, and then we'll start pulling that in place. Don't be tempted to go massively tight, just nip it. That'll hold it in place. That's all you want. And that pops the little lock button in there. You then want the wing mirror or the door mirror, whichever way you want to call it, to go together. So that's that piece and that piece. And you've got a little notch just in there that will sit in that piece like so. Okay, so that's what it's telling me to do. And then that is secured with a PS09 screw, one of them. So let's have that off of there, just like so. And then we'll put a little drop of oil on the end, just like that. Bonk. Have you sight that. And then we'll drop that through the hole and then put that in place. Just easier for me to do it that way, he said. Make sure you got it up the right way. So we want it with the letter L facing that way. So it goes up like so. Just in there is what we want. Once the screw starts biting, you can then line it up to make sure that the notches fit where it should. Just check the orientation. Yeah, that is correct. So we can now tighten that. Just like that. There's the mirror. And then you've got a piece then that press fits in with the glass on, just like so, see? With the 2 tabs. And they go just on these little pegs. Now I'm going to leave the protective film on mine for now. Basically, where it's going to be stored, I kind of don't want to scratch the mirror. So I'm just going to leave that protective film layer on. I think it's the right thing to do. And then once the whole car is together and built, I shall then peel these off once I'm done and dusted with it. Just stops any scratches or anything like that appearing on the mirror. So now that that's done, we can just put that towards the back, and then we can grab the door handle. And as you can see, you've got a thick peg and a very, very thin one. It can only go in one way, peeps, and we want it to drop in the door just like so. Okay, and it's saying a PS09 screw on the back side there, so we'll pop that in first when it's in the upper hole, that one up there. So I'll just rest that underneath, grab me PS09 screw, and we'll pop that in place. because I have a feeling then there's going to be more that attaches around that little area with other screws. So we'll get that in place so that we haven't got to worry about it. Again, just nip the screw home just so that it catches, folks. Don't over tighten it because you are going into plastic and you don't want to damage the plastic. And that will give you that, okay, on that stage. So we're happy with that. We're now getting into the slightly fiddly stage. So spin your door around. And it's asking you to feed your mirror through this little rectangle that's there. So you want this flange with the letter L upside down facing away from you towards there. Go in like so. And then you want to hook that so that it just lines up with the two pegs that are in the die cast, like that. So now that we've got that in place, that is secured with a pair of DS13 screws. Now again, a bit of oil's going on these because we are going into die cast metal. So I really want these screws to have a little bit of lubrication on them, just to ease their passage into the die cast, folks. So I'll start with one. I'll give it a couple of turns just to hold the mirror in place till the second one goes in, and then we'll start bringing those two screws to full tightness. Little drop of oil, and then the same process on the back. Now I'm lifting it with me thumb because I don't want to put any weight on that mirror whilst I'm screwing these in, because I don't want to snap it. Okay. And that's now bit, and that's that door mirror on. But as you can see, I'm leaving the film on, Pete. I think that's a good idea myself. Right. So that's sections or step 4.6 sorted out. We're now on 4.7. It says place the door lock inner flange 4D, that piece, onto the two protrusion pegs just inside the door. So we spin the door back round that way, like that. And we want this to go on these two pegs just there. Those ones there, folks. Here's where you want it. So you want that to go in there and rest on the top, just like that. Happy days. Let's just make sure that it's not handed in any way. Yeah, it's got a slight raised part there, so we want to drop it with the step downwards. That's just like that. There you go. It says the flange is asymmetrical and the two ends are different heights. Position it so it lays flat on the inside of the door. So it's basically got to lay like so. So you're just stepping it, folks. See how it goes downhill? Just there. Okay. You want it to look or lay flat. Okay, that's what you want. So now we're happy with where that is sitting. We want two DS13s, so we'll grab them now. I'm looking at that spring with immense fear, folks, because me and springs have a love-hate relationship, almost as much as my relationship with superglue. So let's just pop that in like so. And then we do the same with this one. And that'll be that little lug in place, a little lock flange. Pop. Look at that. And again, nice little bit of oil going into die cast. And that's now nipped home and in place, like so. It's now saying, what have we got there? 4C, which was this little piece there. And this is the little button that pokes out through the front, just in the middle of the door handle. We want to put that in with the hook facing towards the mirror. So it's like that, going that way. And you're dropping it in there, like that. Okay? What that gives you is that gives you that little button just in front, middle of the door handle. That's it. Right there. That's what that gives you. And then it's calling me then and saying put 4B with the spring, this piece, spin it that way round and slide the spring 4F onto the peg like so. Okay, that's what you want. And then it's going to ask you to feed this through the flange assembly that you screwed on the door. You look at the instructions, there's the flange we've put on. So we're coming from this angle. So we're coming through, pushing it into the flange so that this part here locates just behind where the silver button is, that way. Okay, so where that's got a notch on it or a cover or a cutout, you want to put that in like so, into the flange, so that it sits in front of that area there. That's what you want, because then when you push the button, it's going to push this along and it's going to lock the door and open it. So that's what you want. You want it to have that effect, folks, so that when you do the button, see it move like that. That's what you want. And then that will be held in place with this little bracket 4E, folks. So let's get that in place and make sure that we're holding everything correctly so that it don't all ping out, because I'll tell me mum if it does. And yeah, proper wibbles will be had. And this is secured again with a DS13 screw, folks. So I'm going to be brave. I'm just going to rest that in the hope that it all doesn't go firing across the bench like that. So let's get me screw on the end of the screwdriver. And then we'll put a dab of oil on there first, and then we'll put that back in. Because it is a fiddly stage, this, folks. It will try to resist, because obviously this spring is under tension. So let's just line that back up. Got a little notch in the door there for this peg to go through. So just lift it at a slight angle. Rest it then with your finger, and you'll hear it click in place like it just did. Then grab this plate, like so. Hook it on that screw and literally hold it with your left thumb till you can get a couple of turns on that screw. Now it's going in, see? This is where the oil comes into its own. That's all now in place. So when I push the button, see the spring move? It's like that. That's what you want. That's simple, folks. And that is that stage complete. Looking rather good, I think. Just double checking me work, making sure that I've ended up with exactly what it's telling you there on the instructions, which I have. And it is resoundingly working quite nicely. So that's what we've got now. We have finished that complete section, folks. And that went rather swimmingly. I thought that was going to be a lot harder than that turned out to be. But again, the detail, just that little working lock, opening and closing door, I think is such a wonderful touch. And they can do that on this scale because it's, like I say, 1/6 scale. So there you go, folks. That is this issue coming to a close. We've now completed the left-hand outer door skin. We've still got all the innards to go in and all of that lot in later issues, but I think that is a beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm very impressed with that. So if you would like to order one of these and order yourself a Mustang, hit the link, head over to DeAgostini's website and go and subscribe. Go and treat yourself, folks, because I don't think you'll be disappointed at all in this. So until the next issue, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you for part 5 next time. Bye-bye for now. Bye.